And hello, good afternoon, happy Friday, and welcome to Get a Grip with Coach Elex. And I am your host, Coach Elex, and I am joined by the one and only
Yo, present, Stephen the Medium.
Stephen the Medium. And we're coming to you live from our Cape Cod offices, and Stephen and I are in two different rooms, so we're trying to sort of like be together while we're not together, but yet we're together with you. Does that make any sense?
No.
I don't know. But hello to our producer, Mr. Mark. How are you? Are you
I'm
with
good.
us?
I'm good. How are you?
Am I with you?
I don't know. It's Mr. Mark here. Mr. Mark
He
I
is,
there.
but
am.
I don't think we can hear him, since we're
I,
doing it remotely.
well, I hope you can hear us
Of
because
course he can.
that's the only way we know whether we are actually coming to you live. But Mark was generous enough. He wasn't feeling well the past couple of days, but he feels better now, and he agreed to be here with us today. So I'm really excited about that. So how are you, Stephen? What's
Well,
going on in your life?
I'm on cloud nine. I was just featured on WJAR, one of the, if not the most popular news stations in Rhode Island, and they did a clip on me, and it was on this week in 6 o'clock news, right before the 6 o'clock news, prime time. So it doesn't get any better than that.
And why don't you tell people what was the feature about? This is a big deal.
So I decided to do notes in a bottle, sort of like you know, bottles that you see floating in the ocean with notes that people find. Because I was just thinking 2020 has been just really tough on so many people. So many people have lost jobs, or their hours are cut and just can't afford readings. So I came up with the idea of placing notes in a bottle and in different various locations in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. And when somebody finds the bottle, inside there is a note, and the note gives information to set up a free reading, a free virtual reading via Zoom. So somehow WJR got hold of that story, and I was featured on the news, which was pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing because, one of the reasons you've done that is because we're going through such a um, difficult, murky, I can't even pronounce the word, but disruptive time for all of us. And
Right, right.
you wanted to give people something that would make them happy, something that they would, to look forward to, and something that would be fun. And
Well, it's a scavenger hunt, which is even before you get to a free reading, which is so simple because the note has the link to go on the URL, and then it has a specific password that can just be used once to set the appointment up. But above and beyond that, not that that's not great because I love doing it. It's just the idea that you get out, and it's outside, so less risk. I mean, hopefully everyone still has masks on, but just the fact that it's a scavenger hunt, it's a treasure hunt. You get to look for these bottles, and it's pretty amazing.
yeah, that's pretty awesome. And I went there with you. I think it's exciting. And somebody actually found one of the bottles.
They did more recently. Where we did the shoot was in Roger Williams Park in Providence, and there are two bottles, and one was found, and it was really cool. She posted, I don't know if it's her boyfriend or her husband, but she posted a selfie with the two of them in the car holding the bottle and just being very very excited. So that's going to be really great.
It's going to be really great. So if you are in or around the Rhode Island Roger Williams Park and Zoo, I think there's another bottle, isn't
Yeah.
there?
So go search.
Go search, and more to come because that's what Steven does. Put happy faces in, or put a smile in people's faces. So talking about smiles, so let me sort of, I want to talk to you guys before we jump into the topic of today's show. I wanted to sort of share with people, something that I've been going through recently. Last week, I couldn't do the show because I wasn't feeling well over the past several weeks. And we're talking weeks, I have not felt 100%. Specifically, I've been feeling very anxious. My heart rate, like very fast. And I shared this with Steven, and I didn't know what was going on. So I called my doctor, of course, and I had a teleconference with my doctor. And they suggested that I go to the urgent care, which I did. And they did an EKG and they, did some lab work. And, while I'm feeling my heart rate really fast, the best way I can describe it, when people ask me, so what does that feel like? What I tell people is it just feels like when if you were about to do a presentation or you were about to have a big meeting or something really important and you just feel that nervous excitement, your heart coming out of your chest, that's how I feel, except that I don't have any of that happening. And it was happening. I just feel that like that all the time. So, one of the doctors suggested that maybe, that is anxiety because actually that's the anxiety. Being feeling anxious is one of the best ways I can describe the feeling in and of itself. And then I started thinking about, am I getting anxious because I feel my heart rate, or is it my heart rate that's creating the anxiousness? And I just didn't know, whether I was coming or I was going, and it was getting me really preoccupied. And I'm sort of off my game because I started thinking, why am I feeling this way? How come I can like just get a grip? Hello, my life, my show, my everything is about getting a grip on life, and I just really felt that I couldn't get a grip myself. And I just sort of had this aha moment when I was talking to a client, and they asked me how I'm doing, and I said I'm doing fantastic. And in that very specific moment, I realized that I know words matter. So I'm always, when people say how you're doing, I'm accustomed to say I am doing fantastic, even when I'm not doing fantastic, because I always feel that, again, words matter, and what you speak is what you manifest. But in that very specific moment, I realized actually, no, I'm not doing fantastic. And I was able to be open and honest and authentic with my client. And then I saw, for myself, and again, this is sort of like what life is like, even as a coach with 20 plus years of experience, I am still a human. I still experience, the ups and downs, these feelings, where I couldn't get a grip on anything. I felt derailed. But in that moment, I just really felt that, the best cure was to just be authentic, just to really share what I was experiencing. And the moment I did that, Stephen, Mark, and listeners, the moment I did that, I felt freed up because I felt that I wasn't pretending anything. I was just simply sharing, hey, I'm just having one of those moments. And even though I'm having one of those moments, I'm not letting the moment derail me, or the situation or the circumstances derail me. I'm just being open, I'm being authentic, I'm sharing, my heart. But it just created the opening, created the opportunity for me to sort of get back in my game, and regain my power and my strength. And here we are. So I hope you guys, if you're listening to this, you're connecting to what I'm saying, and it's making a difference, because this for me was like being on the court. I'm on the court all the time, but this was a different kind of game. I told Steven before, I've never experienced anything like this in my life. So it was so unknown, it was so foreign to me, but it was so debilitating in many, many ways. And I want to be somebody who, even when I'm in experiencing that, I want to create openings to inspire others to still live their best lives. So what do you think?
There's a lot of things that I'm hearing, and it's very comforting to hear you say what you did because most people don't, and it puts you in a vulnerable place. And but I think it just pushes you forward and acknowledges what's going on, and then you just keep going without letting it just attach to you in a sort of like a negative way. So I think
Yeah.
that's brilliant.
Yeah, and it so happened that last week I was preparing a show to share like my go-to hacks, my go-to practices when what are some of the things that I do every day to keep me in the game, to get me in the game, and then this happened, sort of like took me away from that. So I thought, how appropriate is that? How awesome is that I'm actually using these practices, these tools to get myself back in the game. So having said that, when we come back, we're gonna dive into, it's a subject that I know I've spoken about many times. I want to talk about The Secret. The Secret is one of the most popular books. It sold over 30 million copies worldwide. And Stephen and I came across this book, and we decided to, I had read the book, but then I decided to introduce Stephen to the book, and then we decided to just sort of listen to the book every day together every night, and it just really transformed our relationship, the way we see life together, and we got amazing results from it. But one of the things that I had done about a year ago, I got these little, what is called the daily teachings from The Secret. And when people say to me, hey, what do you do? What are some of the practices that you do every day to keep you in the game? I tell people I read, I read many things every day, but this is one of the things that it never fails. And often Stephen and I read them together. Often we listen to them together, but every day I pick up on something that will set the tone for how the day it's going to go. So when we come back, I'm going to dive deeper into that conversation. I'm going to share with you some of my favorite ones, and get to chat with Steven, with Mark, with you. And if you want to call me, of course, you're welcome to call me 508 222 1320. And we'll be right back. And hello, and welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elex. This is your host, Coach Elex, and I am with my better half,
Well, hello, this is Steven.
Stephen the Medium, and of course, at the studio we have Mark, our producer. So, I've been talking about how I've been dealing with anxiety and how for me I'm dealing with the physical manifestation, my heart, feeling accelerated, and how to be authentic, how to actually, it's funny, as I'm listening to the tune of my show, this is going to be the best day of my life. I remember that moment where I felt, but how could I be telling people this is going to be the best day of my life when I just don't feel that this is the best day of my life. So it's about, you know, how to, how to be authentic, how to embrace what's going on. And for me, it's embracing the fact that I haven't felt 100%, that I'm dealing with this unknown level of anxiety. I still don't know, what causes this. And, I have a doctor's appointment next week, so I'll know better, how to, deal with the physical manifestation of it. But again, these conversations about face of somebody like me being a coach, 20 plus years of experience, how to own that, how to share that authentically and still own your power, not give way to these conversations that make us victims in where we give our power away and then we feel completely disempowered. So having said that, one of my go-to hacks, one of the things that I practice, you know, every single day without fail, and I have many hacks. This is one of the ones that I find the most fun. I do that, and it came out of one of the most popular books, The Secret. The Secret, by the way, if you're listening and you haven't read the book, I highly recommend it. It's a book by Rhonda Byrne, um, and that explains how the law of attraction, which states that positive energy attracts positive things into your life and governs your thinking and action, and how you can use the power of positive thinking to achieve anything that you can imagine. And this book, by the way, was a global bestseller. It sold over 30 million copies, globally. And in 2006, it actually became a movie, and a very popular movie, and millions of people consider it to be the perfect blueprint for achieving goals. And I'm telling you, I'm one of those people. Um, so there's a few things, about the secret. Three things, major bullets. Is, the law of attraction is one of the oldest and most prevalent principles in the world. That's really what the secret is about. And to use the law of attraction, you must think about what you want, not what you want to avoid. Think about that. You have to think about what you want, not what you want to avoid. So, it's thinking about, you know, abundance, not the lack of, for example. And then it's about three steps, you know, of the law of attraction. It's really about asking, believing, receiving. It's that simple. Ask for what you want, believe that you're gonna get it, and then just wait for the universe to provide for you. Now, one of the things, and I'll be the first one to say, one of the biggest criticisms of the secret are the people who say, that well, you can just think positively and then expect. So, I I would address, I want to make sure that, both you understand, if you're listening to the show, that both mindset and inspire action are necessary for you to achieve what you want. So having the right mindset, it's really important. But the mindset alone, it's not enough. And maybe this is the part that the book doesn't quite address, and it's being criticized, for that. But I'm telling you right now that the book is all about creating the right mindset, which is really, really important. But I'm telling you right now, mindset alone, it's not enough. You have to have inspired and committed and intentional action in order to manifest what it is that you want. So, what do you think, Stephen? Any thoughts so far?
No, I because I've seen the movie and we listened to it. I was just got last June for my birthday when we were in Maine. We were listening to it every night, and I think you mentioned something very important. Is that maybe they do sort of miss that it can't just be one piece of this. It's got to be everything. It's got to be the intention. So, and yeah, when I did my 2021 event a couple of weeks ago, that was one of the things I think I brought up, is that most people don't feel like it's going to work because it's too easy, and it's a shame that people think that.
Yes, exactly. But I go back to the example that, again, I think it was September where you and I were walking, we were running, walking, I can't remember. And you said to me, hey, this is after months of us listening to The Secret every day. You said to me, we sort of been thinking or talking about having the house of our dreams, and yet we're not doing anything about it. And that's a perfect example. We, Stephen and I, had the right mindset. We already visualized the house of our dreams, but we never took inspire action. We never took committed action. And the moment Stephen said that, and he says, well, what's missing? And I said, we got to get in action. That's what's missing. We haven't done anything about it. And that's the truth. The truth is you can't just think about what it is you want and then just hope and pray and dream that it's just going to show up. You have to be intentional in the actions that you're taking and be inspired, by that mindset. But it's got to be inspired action, committed action, intentional action. And, when you think about my methodology, the grip, get a grip. It's about, first and foremost, before you begin, with the concept of getting a grip, you have to be really clear as to what is your vision, what's your purpose, and again, that sets the tone for that mindset. And only when you're clear about what that is, whether it's purpose, vision, legacy, you then begin to take actions. You then begin to say, okay, so here's my goals inside that bigger vision. Here's what I want to do. Here's what may get in the way. Here's how I'm going to address it. And then ultimately, it's about planning the work and working the plan. Without, goals without plan are just simply illusions. And you've heard me say this before, and you're going to hear me say it again and again and again and again. So you have got to, again, work on the mindset. That's really important. By the way, that's really important because I work with a lot of people who are, everything they speak it's negative. Everything they say comes from the half glass empty. That doesn't work, because if you coming from a half glass empty, whatever action you're gonna take, it's gonna be inconsistent with that mindset. So again, you gotta align both, and you gotta check in and be intentional, be self-aware, be mindful, and make corrections. We're not perfect, believe me. Stephen corrects me all the time. Hey, that what you just said is not going to get you anywhere. I'm like, oh, you're right. Let me shift. Let me make a correction. And again, everything is about aligning that mindset, making it a positive mindset, and then aligning actions that are consistent. That's the results. And guys, have to work for it. Just practice it. Take on the practice. Take it for 30 days. And if you don't get results, you can call me. You can then call me and say, hey, I tried that and I didn't get results. And then we can talk about that. So what do you think, Stephen?
Well, I think that it's very, very simple for everybody to just bring down that excuse very easily when maybe they're thinking about they want something, like the example of the house for us. Both of us could have easily went to, we're both self-employed, and with COVID, it's difficult enough now with COVID, to go move forward with the process of getting a mortgage. Never mind, now you add we've got two people, not one, but two that are self-employed, and that's just puts you in a whole different ball game of verification for income, and you just have to jump through hoops,
Yep.
many more hoops than most people do when they're just like a W-2 person, and that could have been very simple for us to say, we should just wait, and it was not something we were willing to do. And as you mentioned, Elix, we were already envisioning we're in the house, and lo and behold, we're in the house of our dreams. So right there is a great example.
Yeah, and you remind me of this saying, this mantra that I remind myself all the time. The person of power does not wait for the decisive time. The person of power is decisive in the moment. So think about that. That's exactly what Stephen said. If you're somebody committed to being a person of power, you never wait for that decisive moment, because there's always going to be, well, when I finish so and so happens, and time is numb. There's not such a thing. The person of power is decisive in the moment, regardless of whatever the circumstances are. You take committed action and you step into that gap. So when we come back, I'm going to share with you some of my favorite daily teachings from The Secret. And we'll be right back. If you want to call me, 508-222-1320. And hello and welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elix. I'm your host, Coach Elix, and I am with the very handsome Stephen the Medium and the so-so handsome Mark.
Wow,
Who's,
my
who's,
clock.
who's my producer. Well, I'm married. I'm married to you, not to him. So just saying, I just gotta keep it straight. He may not be producing my show any longer. So Jim, if you're listening,
Yeah, you need somebody.
You're very handsome. Just saying. Anyways, we're talking about, I've been sharing about my own personal experience recently with not feeling well, feeling anxiety, and how that has manifested for me physically with a very accelerated heart rate. and what I'm doing, and how I'm using my favorite daily hacks, daily practices to get myself away from from getting stuck and to sort of get a grip, pun intended, in my life and what it is I'm most committed to. So I share with you that Stephen and I, this is something we do very often. Every day we read one of the daily teachings from The Secret, the book. You find these on Amazon. You get these little fabulous. You just pick up and it tells you what day it is, and you just read it, and you only you let that guide your day. You let that create the opening for how the day is gonna go. So I chose a few that are my most favorite ones, but let me first start. Stephen actually said this to me, which is I sort of almost miss. Are you gonna share with people your own personal, daily mantra? And I didn't even think about it, but yes, I want to start with something I recite every day. If Stephen and I are running together, we recite it together, but this is every day. So if you wanna, you can make your own. You can take this one. This is to be given away, but this is how I set the tone for my day every single day. So it goes like this: I am so happy and grateful now that I'm living the life of my dreams. This is the life that I want. I am living my best life. And I am a magnet for abundance, prosperity, good health, happiness, wealth, and success in all areas of my life. And I am open to receiving all the good of this world. So this is done. And then I say thank you. And I usually repeat the thank you for about a minute, 2 minutes, just as a way to let the universe know that I'm already grateful. Because I don't say this mantra as a hope, as a someday somehow. I actually say this mantra as is here. I'm already thankful for the life that I have. I am already grateful for how much I love this life, for living the life of my dreams, for living my very best life. This is not a wish, this is not a hope, this is not a someday somehow, but this is a now thing. And when I talk about being a magnet, I'm already experiencing abundance, prosperity, good health, happiness, wealth, and success in every single area of my life. So if this calls to you, write it down, write your own. If there's something that you feel, you want to add, you want to change, whatever, it doesn't matter. But this is a way to create your own mantra, a way to declare, instead of waiting for the day to show up, however the day shows up, or waiting for life to show up, however your life shows up. This is a way for you to make a declaration, to live your life purpose fully. Is that a word? I hope it is.
Yes. Yes.
So, anything
Can
you
I
want to
share
add?
something?
Sure.
One of the things that I always tell you, Elix, when, like, if I'm doing like a guided meditation, I know you do this anyway, and I even tell people when I'm doing readings and talk about, protecting themselves, especially people that are empaths or very, very connected, is that you can't just recite it. And sometimes it becomes habit. I know even for me, when I do my mini meditations, when I get up in the morning and then I do my regular meditations, you can't just recite it and go about your merry way. You actually have to, as you're saying it, you have to listen to the words. You have to envision those words, those words. It's just like saying, "I want coffee." It doesn't get absorbed into the universe, your universe. You gotta pay attention to it. So.
Yeah, and actually, I believe that's one of the daily teachings that I picked for today, where he talks about, you gotta learn to visualize
Right.
what you speak, because there's something about when you visualize and you put your thoughts in motion, they actually impact your ability to make them vivid differently than when you just almost like visualize a static picture. So I totally agree with Stephen. Whatever that is for you, put it in motion, envision what would that look like. When I'm talking about my life, living the life of my dreams, when I talk about this is the life that I love, I'm living my best life. I'm envisioning what that looks like. I see myself doing the things that make this life my best life. When I talk about having abundance, I envision what abundance looks like, prosperity. What does that look like? Good health. I envision every part of my body healed. Especially right now as I'm talking about, dealing with these, physical anxiety and so on. So such a great point. So let me just begin because I want to share with you. I want to have enough time to share with you, a few of my favorite ones. But this is the first one. The first one is to change your life fast. Use gratitude to shift your energy. When you put all of your energy into gratitude, you will see miracles take place in your life. To change things quickly, commit to writing 100 things you're grateful for every day until you see the change and feel the gratitude. Your power is in the feeling that you put into the words of gratitude. I think that's so powerful. What do you think, Stephen?
It's something to go back and listen to, for listeners or for somebody who's just heard that for the first time. It's just it's one of those things that you should listen to several times, and again, just have it absorbed to your mind and into your essence.
Yeah, and I tell you, this is one of the very first ones I read. By the way, the little book is a little 365 days. So every day there's one for every day, and you can, when you're finished, you go back to the beginning and you start all over again. But when I first read this, I actually did the exercise. I wrote 100 things, and what that did for me is it sort of stamped those things in my head. So now every day, I already know, I can tell you, I can recite the things that I'm grateful for, the things that really matter for me. And I speak gratitude. Why what I love about gratitude and really getting into a habit to use gratitude to shift your energy is because gratitude speaks to what's already present even if it isn't. It calls it into being. That's why it's so important that you become grateful. So, getting to that habit, if you want health, just be grateful for health. Be grateful for the health that you already have. If you want abundance, be grateful for all the abundance that you already have. That way, that will shift your energy and miracles will actually begin to happen. It's just that simple, guys. So, so that's the number one. And again, I use gratitude all the time. And I love to hear from you guys. If this is something that you want to take on, let me know. Connect with me on social media. Send me a little note. I'm sure Lindsay will do, something to remind you guys to get into the game and get into action. The This is how you got to step into the game. You got to make this a practice, something that you actually do, that you take on. This is not listening to my radio show once a week and then forgetting all about it. You got to put this into practice every day. And by the way, this is the last sentence here is one of the most meaningful. Your power is in the feeling. You got to feel the gratitude. You got to feel that that's already present in your life. And I promise you, even when you're dealing with the most difficult of the circumstances, when you feel gratitude, no matter what the circumstances are. So, having said that, let me share with you number two. Number two is whatever feelings you have within, you're attracting your tomorrow. Think about that. Whatever feelings you have within, you are attracting your tomorrow. Worry attracts more worry. Anxiety attracts more anxiety. Unhappiness attracts more unhappiness. Dissatisfaction attracts more dissatisfaction. And joy attracts more joy. Happiness attracts more happiness. Peace attracts more peace. Gratitude attracts more gratitude. Kindness attracts more kindness. Love attracts more love. Your job is an inside job. To change your world, all you have to do is change the way you feel inside. That's how easy it is. So, with that said, I'm going to have you guys think about that one. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll share our thoughts and we'll continue on with my favorite hacks to get a grip, to shift your energy, and to go from feeling lousy to feeling energized and positive. We'll be right back. And hello and welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elix. I'm your host, Coach Elix. With me, my better half, Stephen the Medium, and you know, my other person, not other half, but my
You have
other.
another person?
You know what I mean. It didn't sound that right, but Mark Clark is here. He's the producer of our show and a very integral part of our show. So anyway, we're talking about my favorite practices, daily practices that I use to just get myself back on track, to get a grip. And one of them is that daily teachings from the book The Secret. And I'm just picked a few of the ones that are like really the ones that I sort of like and I go to very often, but I read them every day. So the third one is look for the gifts in everything, especially when you're facing what appears to be a negative situation. That's a hard one. Look for the gifts in everything, especially when you are facing what appears to be a negative situation. Everything that we attract causes us to grow, which means that ultimately everything is for our own good, even when we don't see it. Adjusting to a new path and a new direction will require new qualities and strengths, and these qualities are always exactly what we need to acquire in order to accomplish the great things ahead of our lives. That to me is perhaps one of the most powerful things you could take on. And it requires a lot of intention and it requires a lot of purpose. And if there's no comments, and let's see, I'm gonna go to the next one. This is what Stephen was talking about earlier. The key to visualization is to keep the picture moving in your mind and yourself moving in the picture. If you keep the picture moving like a movie, you can master visualization real quickly. If the picture is static, it is a lot harder to hold the picture in your mind. Keep your visualization busy with lots of movement, and your mind will become so captivated it will not be able to think of anything else. Absolutely true. And Stephen, you've taught me recently. One of the things that Stephen shared with me, because he plays a very important role in keeping me safe and sane. He was telling me how to do a protection practice because I'm an empath. I sort of take everyone else's feelings. And he told me how to protect myself every morning. And this is exactly what you told me to do, right?
It is. And, it's really interesting when you just read that piece because at the beginning stages of me figuring out I was a medium, I used to see, and if you probably remember this, Felix, I used to see like little movie clips, and that's changed. Now I see just like still pictures very quickly, but it's just really interesting because when I used to see the movies, they were much easier to keep in place and watch as opposed to just the flashes or the still pictures which don't stay there long. It's very interesting.
Yeah, no, and I'm telling you, when you share with me, hey, this is how you have to do your protection, you have to visualize it, you have to keep it moving, it makes it a lot easier for me to sort of like every day just it's almost like playing my own movie in my head every day.
Right.
So it's really, really awesome. By the way, Mark, I'm looking at the live stream, and Karen Garman from California says hello. So I can't even
Hey, Karen.
begin to imagine that you now have followers from all over the country. Just saying. See that, Mark? Let's see. Let's see. So number 5. Each of us is attracting in every moment of our lives. So when you feel that the law isn't working for you because you don't have what you want, realize that the law is responding to you. You either attracting what you want or you're attracting the absence of what you want. The law is still working, and the law works no matter what. You got anything to say about that?
No, that's so powerful. That is so powerful and so true.
So true. So, when you start complaining about what you're not having, those complaints it's what you're speaking, and that's what you attract. I use this all the time, and it's one of the simplest examples is, listen, if you wake up in the morning and you say today is not going to be a great day, what do you think? How do you think that day is going to go for you? Not great. So you got to learn, even when you're going through difficult circumstances or situations that are not the best, not ideal, you got to learn to speak what it is that you want. Because again, the law is always responding. You're either attracting what you want or you are attracting the absence of what you want. Money is another big one. So let's see. Another one. I want to get through a couple more before we get to the end of the show is, what does it feel like to be in harmony with the universe? So that's a question. It is the same feeling as when you float on water. If you're tense or if you resist the water, you will sink. If you surrender to the water will support you and you will float. That is the feeling, and that is how you harmonize yourself with the universe. So let the tension go and float. And Stephen, this reminds me of what I hear you say to your clients all the time, especially the ones that, come to you complaining that they can't connect with their loved ones. This is exactly what you tell them.
All the time. It's like a broken record.
Yeah. So again, you just gotta let go of that resistance. You gotta surrender. Again, it's like floating. Surrender to the water, and you will float. The universe will support you. Let's see. One last one. To create your tomorrow, go over your day tonight when you're in bed, just before you fall asleep, and feel gratitude for the good moments. If there was something you wanted to happen differently, replay it in your mind the way you wanted it to go, and replay it like a movie the way you wanted it to go. As you fall asleep, say, I will sleep deeply and I will wake up full of energy. Tomorrow is going to be the most beautiful day of my life. This is another one that I practice. That I never ever go to bed without replaying what my tomorrow is going to look like, ever. It's just a practice that I've taken on. I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I invite you guys, for me, I actually have a vision statement. At some point, I'm actually going to share my vision statement with you guys because I'm doing that work with a lot of my clients recently. But, I often, before I go to bed, Stephen will tell you, I spend time in my office. And why I do that is I look at my vision statement, I read it, and I go to bed with my vision statement in my head, in my mind, and that's all I think about. So, what do you think, Stephen?
I think the visualization is sort of downplayed with people. People don't understand. And I remember when I was preparing to take the bar, that was in 2001 when I graduated law school. I think you may have said that to me about just visualizing passing. And for the 2 months of preparation, I remember when I was driving to the library every day to school to study, when I was on the treadmill, like once a day, I would just visualize opening that letter 3 months, after I took the bar, because that's how long it took, then that it said, please, we're pleased to inform you that you passed. And it was just so key. And that visualizing just made the universe come with me on that journey. And lo and behold, I passed the first time. So that visualization is key.
It's absolutely key, and it's actually simple. It's not that complicated. It's not something that requires a whole lot of effort. You just got to be really intentional, and you have to be really, mindful of what it is and clear. Actually clear, have crystal clear clarity as to what it is that you want, so that you can create that movie in your head. You can visualize exactly how it is you want it to go. So I think we'll stop here. There's more, and I promise you guys, we'll have another show, and I'm gonna pick up some of my other favorites because they're ongoing. There's so much I could share with you guys, my go-to. But we've come to the top of the hour, so I sort of have to, say goodbye because otherwise I'll be reprimanded. But before I do that, there's a couple of things I want to share with you guys. Is next week I have an amazing talent joining me as a guest. His name is David Magone. David Magone is a master. He's a globally recognized yoga guru, but he's much more than that. He's got some incredible practices around meditation, around getting, embracing discomfort and why that's important, and of course, yoga practices. So you do not want to miss next week. show because he is an incredible, incredible guy. You've met David, so you
He's
know.
he is amazing. He's one of a kind.
One of a kind. It's actually funny, a little funny as well. So, tune in for next week. Stephen, anything you want to share before we go? Any
Yes.
promos? Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Just find me, Stephen the Medium. And I know this coming Wednesday we'll be back with Through the Static because Mark was not feeling well last Wednesday. We couldn't do the live show. So we'll be back on Wednesday.
Back on Wednesday. And for me, I am doing a reminder. I am doing a very, very unique, beginning of the year special. I've decided to choose 10 people to do one-on-one. One-on-one is something I haven't been doing individual coaching for a long time because I don't have the time. I'm really busy with my corporate clients. But I decided, you know what, this is the time to do that. So I opened 10 spots one-on-one at a very reduced rate, and you can choose whether you want 6 sessions or double that. So if you want information on that, go to Coach Helix. At Coach Helix, anywhere at Coach Helix, you'll find information on that promo, or just let me know, call me or text me. That said, guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Have an amazing weekend, an amazing week, and always remember, you today can be the best day of your life. It's up to you.